Thank you very much. Hi, my name is Tish Owen, and I'm going to teach you how to craft a perfect spell today. So, how many people do spell work? Let's see it. Hot diggity. Okay. So, there's so many approaches, and whether it's an individual spell for love or money or whatever, there are certain things you ought to do first to make yourself be more successful in your spell work, right? And so you should take longer for your setup, for writing it, setting it up, having all your accoutrements, than you do actually spitting the spell out. So first, you have to realize your intent. What do you intend? What do I want? And then you have to connect with the gods, your gods, source, the great muffin, whatever you particularly adhere to, and ask for that help. Here's what I want. Here's what I need. Here's what I'm going after. And I don't, worship the gods as like Christians do. We are partners with them, right? We utilize their energy. They loan it to us or they give it to us because they want us to succeed. So they're not judging us. They're not looking down on us. They're not liking us. Whatever it is that you need, they want you to have it. So you start there, right? And you say, okay, so I want a new car. All right. And then you think about what do you need in order to get that new car. Do you need to get more money? Do you need a better job? Do you need to win the lottery? Because if we could win the lottery, we would all be rich. But what is it you need to make that happen? Because it's not that. It just doesn't drop out of the sky. I wish it did. It would be so much easier. Well, exactly. There you go. And if we could do that, the possibility of misusing it is great. Okay, sorry. Because that girl at work would fall over dead. But anyway, we try to harm none. So what do I need? What will get me to this place? Okay? And then you plot and plan. You write it down. If it's a car, let's say it's a car, okay? An image of a car that you want, cut out of magazines. I had one friend who made a car out of dough and baked it and put it on her altar with a little bow on it, right? It's intent. It's intent. So she intended not to have a car made out of dough, but to have a car that she could drive. So you have to be specific. And I always say, pray like a lawyer. Okay? Don't leave any loopholes in it because the universe loves loopholes. And they will drive a Mack truck right through whatever you're trying to do. So, specific, pray like a lawyer. Here's my intention. So you start there. What do I want? What do I need? How do I get it? Write it down, okay? It's great to write things down because then you don't forget. Unless you lose your notebook, which I did. But anyway, it's a whole nother story. And then you start to go, okay, I need money. All right. So we're going to get, this is how I do it. I don't care. Y'all can do it however you want to. I like a lot of junk, right, in my spell work. So I'll have money, coins and dollars. The biggest denomination I have in my wallet goes on the spell table, goes on my altar. And then, so there's my money part. Okay, so bring me money, green candle, right? And you can find all the colors for whatever, money, love, joy, all the rest of it, anywhere. Pull it up on the internet. So the thing is that you don't need all that, but it helps you to focus. It helps me to focus. Cunningham says, okay, so this, you need this, and you need this, and you need this, and you need this. Now forget all that and do this. Just throw it out there. Because you can do a spell like that, okay, whatever it is, your intention, right? It doesn't have to be all that, but it's nice, and it does help you kind of focus on what you're looking for. So I like all that with the money, the green candle, and then I'm going to craft a spell. So I like for my spells to rhyme. So you remember watching Schoolhouse Rock? Okay, it rhymed, didn't it? And you still remember it, don't you? Okay, that's why. The psyche loves rhyming, right? So I like my spells to rhyme. So my favorite for money is, money comes to me, see how it flows. Money in my hand, see how it grows. Very simple. You put all your intent into those, whatever that is, 18 words, maybe. I've never really counted them. But it doesn't have to be a stanza. It doesn't have to be a paragraph. It doesn't have to be an epistle, right, to make your intentions to the gods. And then you start out, okay, so I want this car. I want it to be pictured just like this car I've got pictures of right here on my altar. So your intent is everything. You don't have a green candle? That's all right. You don't need a green candle. You can get a white candle, or you can get a yellow candle, or whatever that your intention is. That your intention is the whole ball game here. It's what you see created, what you are creating, what you're looking at, what you want. I've done candles of all different colors and go, well, it's not red, but I guess I don't have to do, because I intend for it to be a red candle. Okay, this is using your psyche, your imagination. It is using your faith. And people don't freak out, because I always say faith, because it is. Because you have faith that this is going to work, right? What I am asking for is going to work. And that's what matters when you start to do spell work. So you get all your ducks in a row, to whether it's love or money, whatever it is that you think you want. Make sure your intention is as clear as you can possibly make it. I mean, carve it in stone, okay? Because you're talking to them, and they've got to understand what it is you want, right? So, I want enough money to buy this car, right? That's pretty plain. And they'll go, oh, okay, well, you have to get a new job. Oh, okay. Whatever it takes, right? So, your intention is everything, but you must be focused on what it is you want. And you can't wiggle. You got to go, I want enough money to buy that car, okay? Don't send me anything else. I want enough money for that, okay? So, your focus, your intent, how you state it to the gods, how you ask for energy to help you get to this place is what matters. Your intention, your words, okay? So, in all the books and all the scrolls from antiquity, they always talk about magic words. You know why? Because words are magic. Somebody says something really mean to you, you're going to hold that. It's magic. They put that idea in your head. So, you're going to put, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm going to do, here's what I'm going to get. Thank you very much. And that's the other part of it. The gods do not demand your worship, but they like it if you thank them. If you're polite enough to go, thanks a lot, I appreciate that, right? They like that. We give them energy back. To give us energy is an exchange, right? So, now, you sit down with a pencil and paper. Pardon. I've been in the mountains all weekend, and my voice is almost non-existent. And you it's like you make a map. So, whatever it takes me to get more money to buy this car is what I want. And I'm going to write the spell. I'm going to craft it. And sometimes I get carried away. And there's a lot of lines. You don't really need a lot. But I want it to be perfect. I want everything in there. I want it to rhyme. And you have to go, what rhymes with orange? Okay, nothing. What the hell? So you have to step back and go, okay, let me think about it for a minute. Get up, walk around. Take your mind off of it. Go have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And then come back and go, look at it again. Oh, wait, no, I need to erase this. I need to put that instead. Okay, that reads better. Okay, and I went to school about 50 years ago. So I love iambic pentameter. And if you ever wonder if you ever lose the thought of what it is, there's a line from an old TV show. We hate iambic pentameter. It's 9 syllables. Okay, which 9 is what? A magic number. Yes. So I like iambic pentameter. I want it all to rhyme because I just feel like it's just putting a little bit more into it. If I'm doing something big, I love, like, I'll lay out tarot cards. I'll have candles. I'll have stones. I'll have whatever it is. Anything that enhances the work that I'm doing helps me to focus better, helps me to get my message through the ether so that they can understand what I need, right? So usually if I do a spell, if it's not just get me to knock someone back safe and sound, thank you very much. But if I want to do something kind of big, then I've got a whole table full of stuff. Right? I got herbs, and I got sage, and I got sweetgrass, and I love all of it. So the more stuff I can throw on there, because it helps me to focus, it helps my brain to go, okay, this is it. You must be specific. You must be absolutely focused on your intent, because otherwise it's not going to work as well as you hope it does. The other thing is, when you get done with the spell, you don't walk away going, God, I hope that worked. I hope they heard me. Do you think I should have used that incense instead of this incense? Oh, God, I hope it worked out. You might as well just go home, okay? Because go back to being on a Lutheran, because it ain't going to work, right? You must have no doubt. You must have no fear. You must have absolute laser focus to do what you want. This is serious business. This is not, this is not games. This is the real deal. Eons ago, one of the little children in Coven, he came up after we'd done Big Circle. He says, you know what? You know what grown-ups don't understand? Well, I don't know, Josh. What don't they understand? They don't understand that when you call the creatures for the quarters, they really show up. So I had a 7-year-old tell me, y'all ain't paying attention, right? So I like to cast circle because I think it's the smart thing to do. Because there's lots of stuff out there that love energy, yeah, and they'll show up. So I cast my circle. I like my quarters. I mean, I do the whole shtick. Unless it's, okay, please get me home safe in this rainstorm from Knoxville to Nashville. And let me be on time. Okay. But if I'm doing a real thing, it's big. And I might do a 7-day spell. I might fire that up every day for 7 days, then go, okay. And you walk away from it. And you don't worry about it. And you don't think about it. You release it. And when I first started, I didn't understand that. I thought, well, how can you release your attachment? How the hell do you do that? Because that's what I want, right? And I finally learned it's not that you don't care. It's that you can't keep going, God, I hope it works. God, I hope it works. God, right? Because you're wasting your energy. You're wasting they're like, could you shut up? Sometimes I thought they look at me that way and go, what is wrong with you? Oh, so much. I probably have a diagnosis. But you can't just keep that. Oh, God, I hope it's okay. I hope it's okay. Okay, you just go. You set it and forget it. What is that? It's a commercial, right? Set it. I don't know what it is, but set it and forget it. And that's exactly what you do with the spells. You don't keep pounding on it. You don't keep worrying about it. You don't keep being nervous about it. Unless you decide you're doing something for 7 days or 3 days or 9 days or whatever, and you come back to it every day and you relight and you do whatever and you jazz it up a little bit. Maybe you're like, oh, I could put that stone in there too. That's good. Add a little bit more. You can't add too much, right? You can't be, oh, God, altar looks crazy. There's so much stuff on it. You're right. There is. And 92 kinds of incense. It's all good. You can't put too much because every piece of business that you do, every stone, every whatever, every incense, every candle, you're just putting more energy into this spell. And every piece of business you do enhances that, helps you focus on your intention, and makes you feel like you're putting more of your energy into what you're doing. And that's important too, so that you can get what you want, right? All right, so you decide what you want. You put all your stuff, I want to put that, that seashell would look good. Put that there. Because water is what? It's about flow. So if I want something to flow to me, put a seashell on the altar. Here's the other thing. You can't do it wrong. Unless you doubt it. Unless you go, God, I hope I did that right. I hope I didn't piss anybody off. Okay. Then you're doomed. But otherwise, you can't do it wrong. They don't care what you put on the altar. If you don't put anything on the altar. If you just go, okay, I need that to happen. It doesn't matter. It is all about what makes you feel, ooh, this works. Ooh, you get that buzz, right? Okay. I also pull in energy cosmically through my crown chakra, just like with Reiki, right? You put some of your own mojo into it, right? And you go, okay, the rest is up to y'all. If you have specific gods, goddesses that you work with, I do. But it doesn't matter whether you call Odin or whether you call, who's my personal favorite, or whether you call Thor or whether you call, it doesn't matter. Or you can just say, God and Goddess, Lord and Lady. You don't have to be specific. They know. It's all the same thing, right? They know who you're talking to, and they know what you're asking. So you don't have to educate them because they know it, right? Because they're gods, which is important. So whoever you call to, that helps you as well to visualize them sending you energy for this crazy thing that you're going to do. I try to do beneficial magic when I do Reiki. I put magic into it, right? I put a little pagan into it when I'm doing it. So, whatever makes you comfortable, it's what makes you feel, okay, this is right, this is good, this is what I want, this is what I need. Thank you. And then go your way and, go to Waffle House, get something. And don't worry about it. And when it shows up, then you can go, oh, cool, thanks, I did that really good. And pat yourself on the back a little bit, because you ought to. I try to do beneficial things. I've tried to do bad things. because it comes back on you. You have to be really careful. That's another reason that you need to be specific. If the girl at work is driving you crazy and she keeps sabotaging you and she keeps bringing you up, making complaints, whatever it is that she's doing, be real careful about how you fix that, okay? Because it will bite you in the ass every time. So, with the highest good of all concerned, harm to none, and then none of it splash back on me, right? So, my favorite, if somebody's annoying the girl at work, my favorite thing in the whole world is to get a little bottle. You put her name, you put in the bottle. Put 7 pinches of salt, 7 cloves of cloves, 7 whatever little things of cloves, whatever they're called, and I like a black stone. And then I fill it up 3/4 of the way with water, and she goes in the freezer. Not hurting her, right? I love the freezer spell. It's my favorite thing. Not hurting her. I just want to leave me the hell alone. Okay? Go somewhere else, do something else, bother somebody else. And, I'm always mindful that somebody's going to open my freezer and go, why is there nothing in your freezer but popsicles, vodka, and these little bitty bottles? I don't know. It's a science experiment. Okay. So my oldest daughter's not a pagan. She's a Catholic, which we all started out that way. Okay. But then some of us went, oh, this is a terrible idea. I should do something else, right? But she loves the freezer spell. She loves the freezer spell. And so when I forgot what it was something was going on. I said, well, do this and do that. About a week later, she calls me. She goes, why didn't you ever tell me this before? Well, you never seemed interested before. So did it work? Oh, my God, yes. Okay. So my husband worked for the state for 31 years. God love him. And there was a supervisor who was I didn't know you were allowed to talk to people who worked under you like she talked to him. And every night he'd come home and every night he'd bitch. And finally I said, I'm tired of this. So I went and got my bottle, wrote her name down, put it in clover, in the freezer. I'm like, You can add a tagline into the world, into the land of ice and snow. I send you, and now you go. Okay. And you can even add like melting a little black candle over it, right? Put her away. So I did that. And about 2 weeks later, I'm reading the book. I'm minding my own business. I'm in the living room reading a book. He comes in the front door and he goes, what have you done? And I said, well, you need to be more specific because I've done quite a lot. Yes, ma'am.
Does that freeze her whole life? Or does it just
No, it freezes her from doing harm to you.
Okay.
Yeah. So she stayed in the freezer until, I'm trying to remember how long I kept her. I kept her in the freezer a long time, though. Nah. Finally, yes, ma'am.
So whenever you take it out of the freezer, basically that's just like breaking the spell and you just dispose of it.
And dispose of it properly. So that means you bury it or throw it in the river or whatever you need to do. I do like the river a lot. That's my personal favorite. But so I said, I said, why? He said, because I haven't heard from her, gotten a text from her. There's no email. She hasn't come past my cubicle in about 4 days now. And I'm like, this is where you say, thank you, honey. Yeah, exactly, right? You're welcome. And I said, she's in the freezer behind the frozen peas. Don't touch her. Because who the hell eats frozen peas? It'll be there forever, right? Nobody's going to look. So, but that's my favorite. And it doesn't harm them. It just freezes them from having negative action against you. And that's my personally favorite. And I've started using, some people use Ziplocs. Some people buy little bottles from these guys. Prescription medical bottles. Put it in. Put the top on. Set it up right. About 2 hours it's frozen. You can throw it in the back with the peas. Doesn't matter. So, but your intent has to be. You have to be. Yes, ma'am.
Just a question. Have you ever added more than one person?
No, do them individually.
Okay.
Even if it's the same bunch of people, because there's like a gang, individual. Okay? So, and then you too, like me, will have a freezer full of little tiny bottles. And that people will go, I should, right? You're absolutely right.
That way no one can see all of your
That's all right. Everybody knows my skeletons. It's okay. I don't worry about it. Nobody's going to get into my freezer that doesn't know what they're doing. You can do things that don't hurt, but you can do a freezer. You can do a mirror box. Mirror boxes are so good. depending on the level of meanness that has been exhibited toward you, you can put them, you can buy a mirror box that's mirrored on the inside. And you can put like a little voodoo doll, you can put whatever. I like clay, and I just make a little person, drop it in, and then you close it and seal it. And the intention for this spell is that they're going to see how their behavior has affected other people. They're going to see themselves for what they are. It's very effective. The other one to do if you don't really know who's like sending stuff, and by the way, can I just say this? Really, hexes and spells that somebody has put on you, very, very, very rare. It's very rare. All right, so you can put mirrors on the outside of the box and put you on the inside of the box so that you're safe. So that reflects back out anything that's negative. You're safe in the little box that you've made. I line mine with purple velvet because I have a big piece of purple velvet. I'm like, I just keep using it, right? When I had a store, constantly, people would come in and say, I think there's a curse on me. Really? Who's pissed off enough at you to put a curse on you? Well, I don't know. Then it ain't a curse. Okay? Bad luck is bad luck. And things do snowball, and you get caught in that vortex of everything's going wrong, and it just kind of keeps going wrong because you're like, oh, God, everything goes wrong. And you're speaking those words. Why does nothing go right for me? Because you need to stop saying that. Okay? Intent is everything. Okay? I sat in on a workshop that Dorothy Morrison, for those of you who don't know, she has books, and they're fantastic. And she said, here's what you do. This is to get control over whatever's going on. And she didn't have anything but a white candle, and you need a brown candle for control. That's the color for control. So she said, went into my bag and pulled out mascara. Oh, good, that's brown. Put that there, right? It's what you want. It's what you want to happen that's the most important. If you don't remember anything else from today, what you intend is what you get. So you have to be specific. You have to, again, pray like a lawyer. You have to write it down. I don't care if you carve it in stone, whatever you do, so that you go into the spell going, this is what I'm holding the intention for to happen. This thing, whether it's healing, whether it's money, whether it's the kid in the cubicle behind you that we really wish would like run away from home and do something else. So whatever it is, this is what I see it. See it. Visualize it. Visualizing is not making stuff up. It's seeing the things you want to achieve, right? And so a lot of people are like, well, let's just make it made up. Well, hell sells everything else, so, get a grip. Amen. Somebody, exactly. Somebody told me one time, well, Wicca and all that stuff, that's just made up. And I'm like, really? Bless your heart. Okay. Read a book. Read several, I suggest. So you're not just making it up because you're visualizing what you want to happen. That helps the process of making it real. What you see is what you get. That's what you intend. This is what's going to happen. This thing is going to happen for me. And it doesn't matter if it's crazy. Okay? I want to win the Miss America contest. Okay. The universe is geared to give you what you ask for. You have to be smart enough to ask. Wait, I have to some.
What is your answer to people who a week has gone by, they did everything right? It hasn't happened yet. Do I do it again?
No. Leave it alone. Please, God, leave it alone. No, because magic is not that. It's not instantaneous. It ain't like on TV. It takes time. The universe might have to move these 4 things to get you what you want. It's like putting a puzzle together, right? The right people have to come. The right things have to occur. Your handsome prince has to show up and, work down the street from you so that you run across him every now and then. There are things that must happen before what you need to happen happens, right? Okay. So no, please don't. If it doesn't work and it's been a week, please keep your hands off of it. Sit on your hands if you have to, right? Don't mess with it. And then if it, you still don't get exactly what you want, then you can go, okay, how do I reconfigure this? What I miss? You start going down your checklist. What I miss? What I do? Oh, did I think that when I was doing that? Oh man. Okay. So you have to check yourself. What did you miss? Did I need to do that? Do I need to burn more dragon's blood incense? Not really. Although it's a help, So, no, don't touch it. Leave it alone. Be patient. I preach that all the time to people. I did readings at Pagan Pride in Knoxville, and I bet everybody I talked to, I'm like, oh, you got the patience card. I hate to say this. But you need to get a grip, okay? Hang on for a minute. Do what? Well, we do.
Everybody thinks that it's just
That, right, like that. I mean, that's what TV tells us. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I was just wondering, like, whenever you said, like, you'll do, like, the 7-day spells,
Mhm.
you'll add a little bit more to the altar to bring
If I want to, if I feel like it. If I just go, oh, I'm missing that. Okay.
Kind of about, like, what they asked is, like, about the or about how we should leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
When do you know when to put more energy in?
You need to listen because you'll hear it. Oh, this needs, okay, this needs, I need to put a brand new penny on there. Okay? And it might not be that, they don't speak to us usually that clearly. I wish they would, like, send a text. It would be so much easier. Could you possibly?
Consecutively, like, back to back.
If you're doing a 7-day spell for a specific thing, yes, ma'am. Okay. So, and you have to remember, and you have to try not to, miss a day, right? But I mean, I don't feel like they're that strict. If I like missed a day, I'd go, like, okay, and then I'd go in and put a little more energy into it. Yes, ma'am.
If you stepped away from a spell that you crafted, say, for a month, would you just reconstruct all over, or would you go back?
I think I would take a look at it, and then I'd say, okay, what did I miss? Did I miss something? What other kind of energy should I have put into it? And just kind of, do a meditation on it. And before you start a spell, I really recommend that, where you just sit down and go, okay, what do I need? What am I looking for? What do I need to happen? And really get a really good vision of what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So, it should take you 5 times as long to construct the spell and all the accoutrements than it does to actually work the spell. Right? A spell should take you like that long. But you've got to be right. And you have to have everything written the way you want it. And you have to have all of that. And you have to, there's a lot of really good spells in books. I have one, which is about to go back into print.
We have several of your books, by the way, here. We ordered them for today.
Thank you. Aww. Thank you. I'm going to get spelled correctly. I'm getting it edited for like the 10th time. It was in production. My publishing company decided they didn't want to publish books anymore. Great. Can I get my books back? That took months to get my rights back. But anyway, totally a sidebar. But you can also, so here's a spell, and it's for, I don't know, chocolate chip cookies. Just like with a recipe that your grandmother gave you, you can go, okay, well, you know what? I want to put a little bit more vanilla in it than that. Okay, because this is you making the spell for you. So you can look at a spell on the internet, and you can go, yeah, this needs a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. So I used to have a shop in Berry Hill years and years ago. And Berry Hill is a little city unto itself in Nashville. Don't speak to there. I'm just saying. Please don't do that. So the cops would come up all the time and bring me stuff because there's a graveyard. People love to do stuff in the graveyard. I don't know. I can think of other places to have sex, and I can think of other places to do magic. It's not a graveyard. So they brought me, this guy came in, and he has a shoebox. Puts it on my counter. He said, I want you to look at this and tell me what this is. And he puts on rubber gloves. I'm like, oh, geez, okay. All right. So it was 3 Barbie dolls. Not the expensive ones, the dollar store ones, all right? A blonde, a brunette, and a redhead. And they had fecal material spread all over them. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, oh. So there's a teenage girl. Because I just looked at it and went, okay, here's what they got. They create a shitstorm spell. I'm like, they're just mean girls, and she wants to put a stop to them. And there were candles in the ground around it and whatever. And he's like, well, I blew out all the candles. Did I stop the spell? I'm sure you did. And so he got ready to go, and I'm like, this goes with you? I have a trash can outside, but don't leave this here for me to dispose of. Because if you're going to put gloves on to show me something, I'm like, okay. I need to step back a little bit. But that's there's a spell, and I never looked it up, but I know it's out there, that somebody wrote, put on the internet to be, to give problems to somebody who's being mean to you, to mean girls. Somebody wrote that. Somebody went and did that. There's spells for everything, right? But you need to look at it and go, is there a blowback? And what they don't teach on those kinds of things that people just throw spells up, you better, in the highest good of all, concern harm to me. Boom. Put your tagline on it. For the good of all, with harm to none, when you set something in motion. Because magic will work in a variety of ways. It'll give you what you want. It'll give you almost what you want. It'll give you the opposite of what you want. Okay? So you have to be specific. I ain't kidding when I say that. So those things, a lot of people that are just putting them up on the internet are not putting all those protocols, all those safety measures into whatever they're writing. And you've got to do it because I feel like you do, so that nothing splashes back on you. And even if it's like, I'm going to do a spell for money because I really need this much money. Well, if you don't put those kinds of stops in there, what if your favorite uncle drops dead and leaves you money? You're not going to like it. It's going to make you sad, right? So with harm to none is incredibly important. Do you have a question? Or are you just trying to figure out what I'm saying?
No, I was just waving at Greg.
He
waved at me.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Still think of one.
Okay. Well, that's good. So, be careful what you do. Be careful what you spell, please. Be careful. Think about it. 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 And then think about it again. Get up, walk around the block, come back and go, okay, I'm still going to do this. Focus. Be precise. Throw whatever you want to on your table, your desk, wherever you're doing your spells. At this point in my life, I think I have 4 altars, which is probably too many. But I'm like, oh, I can do an altar here. Well, I don't know. I mean, it gets cluttered after a while, and you got to dust all that crap that's sitting there, right? So yeah, you have to think about those things. Well, yeah. Well, that's true. That's true too. Yeah, you should see my one at home. I'm like, oh, I got to do something about this. That's too much. Wait, and those 4 candles, I need to throw those away. Okay. So, I love all of it. I love candles. I love incense. I love all the different things. I love pictures. I just feel like everything that you put in, you're just putting just a little bit more oomph into it. And then we need to dispose of stuff. So you've done your spell. Everything went well. Okay. I take my little nebs of candles out because I've used them. They're infused with the energy that you put into them. All right. And maybe there's, I don't know, some paper. Maybe there's some ash because I like to burn things too. A little bit of a pyromaniac. Burn that. That looks good. Well, nothing cleanses like fire, right? If you're trying to get rid of something, burn it. Not your house or anything. Just be cool about that. But so what am I going to do with the ashes? I've got the ashes from my incense. I've got the little nubs of candles. I do 2 things. I'll take it and bundle it up, and I'll toss it in the river. And the water carries it away. Or I bury it, depending on what it is. And depending on how the mood strikes me. And there's no wrong way to do it. Don't throw it in the trash. That makes me crazy. I'm just going to... No, God, don't do that. You've blessed it. There's energy in it. Your energy of the gods. Don't just throw it away like it's, McDonald's wrappers, right? Okay. Because we want to be reverent in everything that we do. We want to be holy. We want to see things as sacred when we do these things. And so it's important how you dispose. It's important what you do with it. There's a big old chestnut tree in my backyard that keeps going. I said, something else? Really? Wait. Can you please? That's probably why it's dying. No, it's about 200 years old, so its lifespan is over. But we need to, as pagans, we need to be... Oops, sorry, I'm tapping all over the microphone because I get all like... Cut this out. We need to be reverent. We are dealing with sacred energy. We are dealing with the gods. We are dealing with our own psyches. We are dealing with our own ability to envision things, to have the intellect that the gods have given us, all of that. And it is sacred. It is holy, if you will. We don't use that word too much, but sacred, yes. And we have to treat it as so. We have to be reverent. Okay? See if there's anything else I have missed. Okay. Remember that you have the power. It's God's given gift to you. You just have to be smart enough to use it because anybody can. Anybody can do magic. Anybody can be a Reiki master. Anybody can do that. We doubt ourselves, and we must not doubt. Okay? Because of who we are and what the paths that we have all chosen, it's amazing how we can have this power. And sometimes we doubt that. How could I possibly know that? How could that possibly work? Because you said, give it to me. And they will. They do not begrudge us anything. So whatever you want, whatever you need, however you need to process things. They begrudge you nothing. They're like your mommy and your daddy. They want you to have a good life. They want you to have good things. They want you to have a good job. They want you to be happy and satisfied with your life, right? So we appreciate that. That's our relationship with them, right? They give us whatever we need, not always what we want, and you know that, right? Okay. But they want, I hear you over there in the corner. But they give us what is also good for us, because if you're doing a spell for this person that you just really, really, really want to have a relationship with, and they're already in a relationship or they really don't care and they really, you can't, it doesn't work because it doesn't work well. Okay, so I'll give you a cautionary tale. So there was a girl I used to work with years and years ago on 2nd Avenue, and she said, so there's this guy. I'm like, yeah, because there's always a guy. And I just really want to have a relationship with him. Really? All right. Well, I want you to do a spell. No. You don't understand. I will give you all the tools to make a spell, but I want you to be cautious in what you ask for. So I tried to put that in her brain. So she does the love spell, and she said, I just did the love spell last night. I'm like, okay. Well, he was already coming to her house at 2 o'clock in the morning to have a little conversation with her. But he had another woman he was living with. And I'm like, girl, bless your heart. So it got more frequent that he was showing up. And she's like, but I don't have what I want yet. Okay. So his woman that he lived with got a better job in Hawaii. She moved to Hawaii. He did too. Okay. So now he's, 4,000 miles away. But yet he's texting her all the time. Oh, baby, I miss you so much. Right? I'm like, wow, okay. So then he comes, no. Then she finally got tired of him. And she said, but he won't leave me alone. I'm like, because you did a spell and you didn't put any kind of perimeter on it, right? So she finds this other guy, and they're dating. Everything's going really good, and she really likes him, and he likes her, and it's all wonderful. So one night, late in the night, whatever time it was, 11 o'clock, this guy and his woman flew back home from Hawaii, about 4 or 5 months later, back from Hawaii. Went straight to her apartment, knocked on the door, the other guy's there. That did not go well, okay? But it still took her 2 more years to get rid of him, to finally get, 2 years. He won't leave me alone. Well, honey, I told you ought not do that kind of spell, right? So think about, just because you want something, is it good for you? And that's the other part of what you put into it, right? Is this good for me? Is it going to be awful for me? I'm going to have to move to Kalamazoo, Michigan if I take this job. All those things. What are the outcome? What is the outcome? What can happen? And you got to cover all that when you're doing your spells. I don't want to move to Michigan. I don't want to. So, and sometimes we're defiant. Sometimes we're bad children. So 5 years ago, I closed my store downtown. They doubled the rent. And my husband had a leg amputated. Okay. And my mother, who was in her 90s, moved in with us. Something's got to give. I can't do all this, right? But I thought I had to have a shop. And I looked and I hunted and I drove around because I'm thinking, I have to have a shop. And the gods keep going, no, you don't. You can stop. I'm like, no, but I have to have it. I have to. So I let my ego get in the way. And there was one shop that was in Madison that had great space and opportunity. Man, I kept saying, please, guys, don't make me move to Madison. I don't want to move there. Well, I didn't move there. But I kept thinking, that's what I needed. That's what I needed. That's what I needed. And they kept pounding me in the head. I had 6 different locations and 3 contracts written. And every one of them fell through. Before I went, oh, okay. Because we also, our ego gets into it. I have to have this. This must happen. I can't take anything else. Don't send me anything else. Don't do anything. This is what I want. And they're going, no, it's not what you really want. You just think that it is, but it's not. So that was an important lesson for me. And I've been at this for a minute. So still, you still don't always make the right choice. So that's what you put into your planning. I need this to be the right thing. I need this to be the right choice. What are the ramifications if I do this thing? What are the ramifications if I don't do this thing? All of that. There's so much thought that goes into crafting a perfect spell that it should take you a day. It should take you a week to go, oh, I think I want this in it. Okay, I want this not to happen. I want that to happen. I need to put this in it. And then you put out your candles and your incense and your stones and your seashells or whatever else you have. Then you do it. Do it with the confidence that you will get what you ask for. So when I was a young girl, about 100 years ago, I went to Catholic school. I was taught for 12 years by nuns, so let me tell you what. Gotcha. And the nuns used to say, and if you're 15 and you hear this, be careful what you pray for, you just might get it. And I thought, well, what the hell else would I be praying if I didn't do one? Important lesson, okay? There are very few things I took away from being in Catholic school for 12 years, but that was one of them. Be careful what you're praying for. It might not be the right. If you want somebody to leave their boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other and come and be with you, that may not be what you really want, because that person might really be a jerk and you won't find out until they've moved into your basement. And then you're like, how did I get rid of him? So what you want, focus, intention. Doesn't matter whether you use tools or whether you don't, or whether you have a blank table. It doesn't matter, okay? It is what you intend to happen after you have looked at all the ramifications and what might just go wrong, because spells will do that to you occasionally unless you're careful. But if you're careful, you're cool. All right, we have 3 minutes. Anybody have questions?
What's the worst spell you've ever done?
Like the meanest spell I've ever done? Or I'm going to plead the fifth. I've only
What's your
put...
specialty?
What's my specialty?
Is there one you're like really good at and one you're like not so good at?
No, I'm great at the put it in the freezer thing. That's just like... And it works. I mean, it works like it just is perfect. It works every time. You don't hurt anybody. And so I like that one. I've done that one a lot, and I'm always good with it. What is the worst spell I've ever done? I mean, what is one that didn't work? I'm not sure I can remember, because they usually work pretty good for me. What I did? I just put somebody in their place. Well, that place might have been the depths of hell, but that's where she is. Say it again. Thank you. Said one more turn around the sun and they ain't killed me yet. So we'll try and stay on this side of the dirt. That's probably my favorite thing. So yeah, just I can't say that I've ever done a really terrible, horrible spell. The person that I did a spell for, on, against, whatever, really deserved to be slapped in the dirt, and so I did. That was a 9-day spell. My husband would come home at night and go, "Smells like magic in this house." Thank you for noticing, honey. So, all right.
So even if someone did something really terrible to you,
Mm-hmm.
and if like the system failed you or whatever, and you decide to get them back through spellwork, is it still basically the same? Like it's gonna splash back on you no matter what?
Not always, but you got to make sure you are protected. Harm to none, highest good of all concerned, including me. Nothing splashes back on me. Usually I allow the universe to just let karma happen. I've done karma spells. May your karma balance. Those are good too, right? But for the most part, that's sufficient. Whether you put them in a mirror spell, whether you put them in the freezer, whatever, there are very few times that you have to do something that's just absolutely nefarious. And I will say I've done that one time. Okay, worked out really good.
How long do you determine how long? How do you determine how long to do a spell for? Like a 7-day?
Because I wanted to put a lot of energy into that one.
Okay.
And I fed it every single night. And I did a bath every day with coconut water, and you take parsley to kind of just brush all the bad off of you every day. I did it for 9 days because I wanted it to be sufficient to the crime involved.
Is that the longest time you
Yep.
invested?
Yep.
I know. I'm sorry.
Stop. No, take that out of your vocabulary. Okay, there you go.
What was I going to say?
I distracted her.
Oh, so I know it varies with every spell that you do. Sorry, I'm new to this spell stuff, but about how long do you wait for the results? I know it doesn't it's out of sight, out of mind, but usually is it like a month?
It just depends. It really does depend. Okay, it really does on what's going on, what you've done, how much you put into it. Whether the universe is aligned to give you what you want, you just have to be patient. It's the P word. Okay.
What are other ways to protect yourself from backlash?
Mirrors in my house, in my windows pointing out, so whatever comes in is reflected back. I put, if I'm really doing something or I'm really having whatever, I like salt across my door jambs, across my threshold, on my window sills, if that's necessary. Vacuum it up once a week and put it down neat because salt absorbs. So vacuum it up, put your whole nother layer down. And then stand in light. Stand in a nice big bubble of light. Okay. Pull it in through your crown chakra. Pull it all the way in, all the way down. Push it out through the pores of your skin. Make a bubble. It should be at least this much bigger than your arms are long and your feet are. So in the ground, all the way around, bubble. That's the best way. Do it every morning. I do it every night. Just because, right? Okay. All right. Thank you for being here. I really enjoyed y'all. Spell it correctly. Spell it correctly. You'll be able to get it from Amazon hopefully in about the next 2 weeks. No, you don't have that one.
You have your Pagan Festival book.
Okay.
And
you have Death on Sunday and Death in the Family, I would think, if you've got the fiction books. They're murder mysteries with a little bit of a paranormal bend to them. So.
Where's pictures? They're probably spread, but just ask them, we'll find them.
Okay.
We have Tish's book today.
Thank y'all. Spell it correctly.